Okay, why I stopped drinking. It's funny, but you often come up with the question, hey, do you want a drink? And you have to say, I don't drink. You have to say, I don't drink. Because if you say, like I used to, I'm not drinking tonight, people will try to talk you into it. And what inevitably happens, because my conviction is strong, is it will kind of come to a halt and then it'll change the mood. You don't want to change the mood. You want to be out with your friends. You want your friends to be enjoying life and you want to be enjoying life. It just happens that I don't drink. And it's been more than 10 years that I've not drank in terms of like regularly. Like now and again, I will have a blowout, but I was just thinking about it and it was 2019 when I had the last blowout. So this 4 years ago, probably nearly 5 years ago, you know, a friend was over, we just had a couple of drinks, and because I'd not drank for maybe 5 years, I'm literally talking 5 years, 3-4 drinks had a massive impact on me, drinking down these whiskey sours, and then all of a sudden, I'm drunk, and I'm not in control of my life, it feels like. And with me, the reason why I stopped drinking in the first place was because there's definitely a problem in my family of drinking. And there's a problem in Manchester, there's a problem in the north of England, and maybe in England or the UK. Northern Europe probably has a problem with alcohol, I think. When I grew up in Manchester, when we would start drinking, it was like 17, 18, I started drinking, maybe before. The purpose of alcohol was to get drunk. It was to kind of like forget your worries, to forget your problems and kind of like enjoy the night with no inhibitions. I think that's the right word. And that's completely different in Spain. So when I moved to Spain, when I moved to Norway and Sweden, the culture there is very much, you go to a force-wheel party, which is like a pre-party before you go out. And because maybe alcohol is so expensive when you get out, you drink as much as you can at these force-wheel parties, these pre-parties, and then you go out and everybody's hammered. So it's very much the same drinking culture. Although Scandinavians get away with it, they don't have the same reputation as they do maybe in the UK or in Russia for drinking a lot. Germans drink a lot as well, but when I got to Spain, it was much more of a social drinking affair where people would drink over time, but they'd also eat at the same time, and it'd be much more sociable in terms of speaking to friends, a group of friends, much more of a mixed group. It's much more likely to find a group of friends in Spain that are men and women or girls and boys, as opposed to in the UK, it's very separated. Or it used to be anyway, growing up in Manchester. But the reason I drank was because whenever I do something, whether it's running, whether it's work or business, whether it's partying, I do it to the excess. I'm the guy who doesn't want to leave the party. I don't want the party to stop. I don't see a reason in the party stopping because we're having so much fun. Why would we actually make this come to an end? And there's like key moments when I've been in Ibiza, I can quite easily go to a club and go to a really kind of big DJ and really enjoy the night and not have drink. But I can remember moments where friends would come to me at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, we're going now. I'd be like, this is absolutely immense. Like, why would we want to leave here? And to me, it was like not nonsensical. It was kind of like, let's leave when the party finishes as opposed to that. And that's exactly how I was when I was drinking. And what you have in Manchester, and it's maybe a taboo, you know, it's much more popular now to smoke cannabis in Thailand because it's been legalized. But like growing up on the party scene in Manchester, drink and drugs just came together. And so naturally you kind of go to parties and everybody else was doing stuff and you'd be essentially a sheep. You'd just be a product of your environment and you get involved. And again, you'd take it to the excess. But there comes a point in your life, and it came really early for me. I kind of grew up quickly. I lived on my own from being 18. I moved out of my parents at 13. And when you live on your own, you kind of grow up very, very quickly. You realize that, oh, the house is not getting clean unless I clean it. The bills are not being paid unless I pay them. I don't have a transport unless I buy a car. All those things kind of come true. It's not like you're kind of growing up at your parents' house and they're fixing everything for you. Your tea's on the table for when you get home. It doesn't work like that. So you grow up really quickly. And then I came to a point when I was probably 22, 23 years old, where I was leaving Manchester. I left Manchester when I was 23. And I remember having this leaving party. And I remember, like, I knew lots of people, but I've only ever had 5, 6 friends, 5, 6 close friends. and everybody else has sort of been an acquaintance, and everybody on the party scene was people that I knew like tiny amount of their life. I might know what they do for a job. I might know where they like to go kind of after the bar that we're in or after the club that we're in or whatever. And that's it. That's all I know about. I might see them out and about in Manchester city centre in the day and then see them at night. And it might be like, oh, I feel like it's a friendship, but it's actually not a friendship. It's an acquaintance. And so what I got when I moved out of I had a leaving party and there's a lot of people there. Then I moved to Norway. I realized that those people were just acquaintances. They weren't friends, and they stuck with me, or they were friendly with me because I liked doing what they were doing on nights out. They like drinking as well on nights out, and therefore we kind of like brought together with alcohol. And then when you stop drinking, you realize who your friends really are, because your true friends will see you go through a transition, and they will accept that transition as you improving. And I'm not saying not drinking is better than drinking. But what I will say is, if you want to get ahead in life, and if you want to go as far as you possibly can, if you want to reach your potential, which for some reason is innate within me, whether it's running, business, work, whatever it is I'm doing, I want to be the best possible version of myself. I know it's cheesy to say that, but I can't think of another way to say it. And so if you want to become the best version of yourself, you'll realize that alcohol doesn't go hand in hand with that. So you kind of kick it into touch. And when I kicked it into touch, I realized that it's not a case of I needed it to have more fun. It's not a case that I needed it to kind of go to parties. I needed it to socialize. I didn't need it at all. And so what I realized is I wasn't losing days. I'd often wake up after going to bed at 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'd wake up the next day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I wouldn't feel great. I'd probably take the wrong decisions as to what food I was eating. I'm pretty disciplined, but sometimes I would make the wrong decisions as to what food I eat, and it obviously come natural. If you go out on a night out in Manchester, speaking to somebody the other day about this, and like you go out on a night in Manchester, a night out in Manchester, you drink probably 6 to 7, 8 drinks, maybe a lot more if you're in my friend circle. And then of course you get hungry, and then you go for whatever food is open at that time. It's probably a kebab shop, but it's probably McDonald's. And so you're eating bad food on top of all the empty calories that you've already had. And then you go into the gym the next day, maybe once you've kind of sobered up. So it never made sense to me. And because there's kind of versions of it in my family that I don't like, I don't appreciate, I just had to say no to it. And this is more than, I want to say it's 2010. And there's been moments when I've been to Ibiza and therefore I'll kind of let my hair down. I used to do it on an annual basis. I'd go to Ibiza, let my hair down, and then it would be like, it used to be 2 weeks, and we'd go nuts and we'd have a great time. It was brilliant. And then I wouldn't do it for 12 months. And then it was a week, and then all of a sudden people started having families and children and stuff like that, and then it became 4 days. And now it's literally 2 good nights out, and then that's it. And that's all I need to do. So I stopped drinking, and it is easily the best decision. If you drink a lot, or if you drink kind of regularly and in the UK we binge drink, we drink at the weekends, but it's so common. Some of my family do this, and my friends do this. They'll just get home from work, and the default mode is open a bottle of wine or have a few beers. And it's not conducive of you realizing what you really want to realize in life. And I guess if you're watching this, you're already kind of on this team. So I'm kind of preaching to the converted, but once I gave up alcohol, and it was more of, I don't drink versus I'm not drinking tonight, it's so much more easier for your friends just to be on that journey with you, and you learn who your true friends are. And as I said, literally 6 friends, they're on that journey. They realized that, and definitely when I began running seriously, 2013, maybe 2010 running seriously, and I remember 29, I stopped drinking. So it's been 14 years that I've stopped drinking. And best decision that I ever made. Best decision I ever made, yeah. So if you're going through the same journey, if you're going through kind of, if you're thinking of stopping drinking, if you drink from time to time, I've helped coach some athletes towards certain races, and they have to factor in a wedding day. They have to factor in like a night out somewhere. I'm going to be drinking. What should I do the next day? It's not even a decision for me, because even if I'm out until 6 o'clock in the morning with my friends, and I have the energy to do that, I'm not going to be kind of like, I'm not going to feel bad the next day. So I'll just wake up after 8 hours sleep and go for that long run. I'll go for that interval session. I'll go for that easy run. It's very easy to do. But if you're struggling with that, let me know. And because I think it's a great kind of, it's funny. I saw a quote not too long ago, and it was, alcohol is the only drug that if you don't do it, friends will think you're strange. And I think that's perfect, because if you say, okay, I'm doing cocaine tonight, that might be a bit strange. If I'm smoking weed tonight, then it puts you in a certain frame of mind. But with alcohol, it's like if you don't do it, then you're ostracized in a way. So yeah,